welcome to the Paint Log. My name's Keith, and we're going to talk about the minis I painted this week. It's actually been a pretty crazy week hobby-wise. There were some highs, there were some lows. We did actually get the airbrush from my friend. She was kind enough to let me borrow that, so I have that, and I have some minis that I've painted this week with it. Some of the highs and the lows are with the airbrush, and some are just overall with my happiness with my paint schemes. Before we go any further, shout out to my cat Yertle, grooming himself. Yertle, you gonna even look up? No, he doesn't, no care anymore. And shout outs to all you guys. I really appreciate all the likes and the comments on the video. So remember to keep doing that. Keep liking the videos if you like the minis. Comment if you want to see more. I painted another goblin because, like I said last time, I have 10 of them. So why not? And if you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. We'd love to have you here. And by we, I mean me and Yertle, of course. Ain't that right, bud? Before we get into the minis that I actually painted, I wanted to talk about my airbrush experience a little bit. I actually have the airbrush, this delicate tool with me. It is a Sparmax SP35. Yeah, you can kind of see it. It's probably backwards. I don't know. And I had a really good time with it. Not initially, though. My friend brought it over. To give her all credit, she said that it had kind of been sitting around and she hadn't touched it herself. She had received it from her brother. So I was kind of the troubleshoot person, and I did have to troubleshoot. It wouldn't even blow air at first. Hooked up to the compressor, had to take it apart and clean it. So highly recommend having some cleaning solution on hand. Then when I cleaned it and put it back together, it was blowing paint all the time. So the way that this tool works is you press the button down and that lets air come out the front, and then you pull it back and that pulls the needle back, which lets paint flow through this and blow out. So you should never have paint come out by just pressing down. You have to pull back, and paint was coming out all the time. So I basically had to take it apart again and clean it again, because to solve two paint coming out, the needle wasn't situated properly. And so I had to take out everything, scrub the needle again very carefully, and then insert it in and make sure that I pushed it just slightly all the way until it snugged in. And then fortunately it worked how it was supposed to work. So I was wasting paint. I was also thinning my paint way too much, which was just a whole kit and caboodle. I'd stick to the one paint drop to one thinner to start. Don't think you know better. I definitely thought I did, and you'll see it in this model. Yes, all in all, it was a hurdle that I had to get over. But once I did, I actually was able to utilize it and coat a pretty big model very, very, very quickly. So without further ado, enough of me rambling, like always, and let's get it in. So in the last video, I mentioned how I had picked a mini and then rolled dice for a random color scheme. And when I got the airbrush, I was like, perfect. I can try that out and do that super fast. And it was the first model that I painted. And when I say painted, I don't really mean all the way, because I airbrushed it, saw that it was super glossy because I added way too much thinner, airbrush thinner, which gave it a very, very glossy appearance, and then I was frustrated with it. Again, this week was full of highs and lows, and you can see on the shield specifically is where I tried to spray the yellowish peanut butter, and I thinned it so down, and that yellow is so thin already that it didn't even barely stick. And I tried it on the shoulder pad as well, and it very frustrating, but learning experience. So I don't know if I will touch that model again. I think I will leave it there just to kind of learn from it and see in the next model how I was actually able to use the airbrush a little bit more effectively. So this next mini is a Hagglethorn Hollow Treeceratops from Printable Scenery. I got it off of Etsy, and I've been sitting on it for a while. It's one of the first minis that I purchased, like maybe even over a year ago, definitely over 6 months ago. I wanted the airbrush to be able to paint it because it's so big. Like it's softball size if it doesn't come through in the picture. And you can see I was able to get a nice, like, starting with a deep, like, purplish brown at the bottom and working up to a lighter golden brown at the top. And then I dry brushed it a whole bunch because textures with a lot of edges like that are very, very good to dry brush. More with like an orangish brown to kind of accent the mouth and the face. The mushrooms and the grass were also airbrushed. I had to go back and correct a little bit just because it was the second mini I used the airbrush on, so there was some overspill. But overall, it was a super fast job, and I would say from start to finish, including drying time, it was probably done in 2 hours. Here's another goblin I painted, just because I like painting goblins. I found I'm really happy with how the back muscular structure came out, and I think I'm getting better at that in between the goblins. But yeah, he joins the other band of the three to cause some mischief. This is a mimic vending machine from the Dungeons and Lasers Animal Companions box set by Archon Studios. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Overall, the fade I achieved with one quick spray from the airbrush from the dark red up to the top. I definitely could have pushed it up a lot higher, but I'm happy with the results. I'm cautiously venturing forward. I've painted it pretty close to the box art on this. I just thought it was super, super cool. I added a little bit of gloss varnish to the glass and the tongue to make them shine and be sticky. I think it worked out a little bit on the tongue, not so much on the glass. And then of course I wanted to go for that grungy, dark aesthetic. Overall, very, very happy with how this thing turned out. And finally, we have the goodest of boys, again from the Dungeons and Lasers Animal Companions set from Archon Studios. I painted this mini in 2 hours last night. I was actually very, very, very frustrated with it multiple times. I tried to get the fur down in the back and thought it looked terrible, but it didn't have anything else around it. So I set it down, reflected for a couple minutes, and then picked it back up and started working more and more. Did the face, did the same thing again, set it down and picked it back up. And overall, I'm actually really, really happy with how it turned out. The eyes actually communicate something. Like it. He looks like he's about to swing that sword. He looks like he's looking at someone warily. Again, he did turn out to be the goodest of boys. And with that, that's all the minis I painted this week. Thank you for tuning in. I want to wrap it up fairly quickly. The videos are getting longer and longer, and that's not the point. I want to keep them relatively short. So again, thank you for tuning in. Like the video if you liked it. Leave a comment below of what your favorite mini was this week. I think we have some pretty cool contenders. So remember, if you liked it and want to see more, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I am doing channel posts whenever I post a new video, so you could get a notification if you hit the bell icon. But enough of my YouTube shilling. I will see you all next week. Bye. Oh, and here's a close-up of Yertle. He doesn't like being held too much.